Okay, so this is our interview with Bolo, the TikTok content creator. So with that, I'm Ali De Leon. I'm with Lala Agdeppa. So Ate Lala, please take it away.
Okay, so brief intro lang about our ethnography. So normally, anthropology and sociology classes in UPM, we conduct ethnography, which is done by fieldwork. We go to different communities and we study about their culture. For example, our last ethnography was in Banawe, Ifugao. So we studied um, people who belong in indigenous groups, particularly the Mumbaki. So yan, example lang yan. Since we are in the middle of a pandemic, the data collection methods are adjusted. So right now, instead of calling it ethnography, we call it netnography. So the data collection is done through online interaction. So yeah, yun lang.
Got it.
I'll leave
Netnography.
those.
Did you coin the term? Netnography?
We wish.
Okay,
Sounds so
okay.
cool, no? So about our topic naman, we chose TikTok because it's so popular here now. I mean, aren't we number one TikTok users in the world? So yeah, you're one of those who make us number one. Thank you very much. So let's
Oh, thank
start.
you.
So let's
Hmm.
start our question.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you tell us something about yourself? Like, what are your hobbies? What are your interests? Yun.
All right. Cool. So right now, I'm a third year law student in UST Faculty of Civil Law. I run an education consulting business that offers debate programs for international school students. So before the pandemic, I had Korean students fly over to the Philippines to learn debate and public speaking under my programs. I also fly in and out of Cebu to privately train 2 to 3 students every weekend over there. And I'm also a coach of UST Junior High School and sometimes UST Senior High School. So that's what I do. And I started TikTok because I follow this individual on social media who is Gary Vaynerchuk, where back in 2018 and 2019, he said that TikTok is a platform that has a high number of organic reach that you could get, even if you're super mediocre. So when I got that heads up from that content creator, I started going on TikTok and then started posting anything about myself. So essentially that's it. Like I run a business. I'm a law student and I create content on TikTok. So that's me. And I also run a podcast called Bolo Pascual Show. It's on YouTube and on Facebook. And I also give free debate lessons online. It's also on YouTube. And I also created a debate group in Facebook where all students outside of Metro Manila can access. My stand is they can access world-class coaching. From me and other invited coaches. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's me.
Wow.
Subscribe now.
Cool. Stellar. Okay. So how do you describe your content? Who is
Mm.
Bolo Pascual in TikTok?
Love the question. Thank you so much. So my account name is called Bolos World, which means I just want everyone to enter my world. So whatever I post, I treat it as me documenting my life. And I created a segment called like I'm just saying like I'm the cool tito, what's up my pamangkins, because I want to create that family feel for the audience because that's part of the Filipino culture, and I just wanted to like harp on that, like how Coca-Cola's been doing it, or like McDonald's or Jollibee's doing it. It's like it's all centered around a lot of the advertisements are centered around family and those values. But more than that, I just like because of the pandemic, I've been contemplating about my mortality, which is why I was just scared that like if I would die because of like some unfortunate event, like my nephews in real life like wouldn't get to know me. So like I wanted to document like who I am so that like whatever happens to me, they'd still have an experience of me. But at the end, my only goal is to document my life and to provide value along the way, um, and show how I grow as an individual. So if you get to look at my content since day one when I was on TikTok, you'd see different behavior changes uh, in my life, and I just want to document that and document that process. I think I'm an individual that has a lot of big dreams and big goals, and I just want to set that blueprint for everyone to see that like anything is possible even if your grades suck, because like I was super notorious for not having good grades. Like many of my family members like would get into top universities like UP and Ateneo, and because they were like a lot of them are academically excellent, but like I'm here the black sheep like who can't do shit. But at the end of the day, I just want to show the process that like even if the academia says no to you, that doesn't mean that life would say no to you. And I just want to show my struggles and my challenges, so that I could show and demonstrate my growth along the way. So that's how I could describe my contents. Just necessarily documenting myself as if it's a journal. And I hope that provides value in the future, for other people who are going through the same thing.
Sobrang insightful. I actually saw your TikTok po about that one. Yan.
About grades?
So, opo. Yeah.
At
Okay,
least,
so who is your main target audience?
Mm, got it. My main target audience are the people who would dig me if they met me um, in real life. Uh, I have like I really don't care like who tries to like who wants to follow me, whatever. I just preach to the choir. So that's my style. So if I have like 5 people who dig my content, I just make it for those 5 people who dig my content. I don't, and then if other people are reached organically, then that's fine. But how I approach my content is that there are like 5 to 6 people that I have in mind that have been close to me, whether they've messaged me in a DM. And then I think to myself, all right, like how do I have this person be empowered to be themselves and to express themselves? So there are 2 to 3 people who have said that I'm going to start creating content, and one of them like have 75 followers, another one has 9,000 followers, and I just wanted to create content for those people who just already find value with what I do. Because for me, it's not about the quantity of people who follow you, but I care more about the narrative. That maybe if I can reach 20 people for the rest of my life, and because of the insights that I share, those 20 people find value with what I share, and then they turn out to be happy. They turn out to be like really wealthy, but not only like in money, right? Like also in friends or in adventures or opportunities. And if some of them can, some of those successes, they can attribute it to me, then I think I have fulfilled my goal. I'm just fortunate that there are other people that find value in my content, and yeah, now it's in the thousands. But because of the pandemic, another target audience that just I recently had are people who can't afford schooling. If they can only afford a phone, but they can't enroll in school anymore because their parents can't afford it, I would like to provide them value with my content, whether it's about discussing laws or discussing concepts within nonfiction books that I read. I also think about them now because there's an opportunity for me to make a positive impact, especially where we see a lot of gaps that we see in society, especially with the government and public private corporations. So those are the people that I intend to reach out of making content.
Sobrang wow talaga. So, what inspires you to make these contents?
Mm. Uh, I would say 2 things. Number one would be seeing the real impacts that I provide for other people. That inspires me. For me, like no stature or no position or like no wealth will replace the fact that you have made a difference in another person's life. Um, so that's one. But secondly, um, it inspires me to challenge the norm, like like in your face challenge the norm. So I was born and raised with a conservative Catholic family, and I just want to be able to foster conversations that aren't talked about, especially in conservative settings. um, and I think that if we're able to discuss difficult topics in society, we are likelier to, I don't know, like be smarter as a citizenry, and discuss things. So for me, like I really love talking about the LGBTQ plus movement. Uh, I really like talking about uh, atheism and me being a non-practicing Catholic. Like one of my podcast episodes was with my mom because she's a super conservative Catholic, and I have told her that I don't want to go to church, and we've talked about that. And I just think that more people that disagree and can talk about things in a healthy manner, we can find new solutions, and we can find like better alternatives based on how we do now. So I just really am happy with like growth and evolving certain things based on how we disagree and how productive we have disagreements. So, one quote that I remember that I really liked from a US general, I forgot his name, but he said that if everyone's thinking the same thing, then no one is thinking at all. So, I would love to elevate the discourse, um, where people grow even when we disagree, which is why out of so like I'm very I'll admit like I'm very dilawan, like I'm a Mar Rojas simp. I defend him on Facebook even if like whatever. um but then because of the fact that I engage with disagreements, that's when I learned that it's not healthy for discourse to generalize the DDS as if they're a bunch of stormtroopers and they're all the same. And that's where I found my passion for creating like some level of empathy with the people that you disagree with, because at the end of the day they're human beings who care about certain shared goals that both Dilawans and DDS would have. But for me, if I weren't talking about like challenging the norm, challenging the majority perspective, I wouldn't have grown as a person who would be compassionate with the people that I disagree with. So there.
Yeah, that's so insightful, Like me, I really feel like we need to open this space. We need to talk about things. Stop it with all the taboo in this country. Like what you said, productive disagreements, elevate the discourse. Sorry,
Yeah,
there's just
and
two
wala
cats.
namang pinapanganak na mulat agad, 'di ba? So,
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
okay.
What do you call this? And I just also want to say that because of the fact that I consistently disagree with other people, I also get to realize my own faults, and I also get to realize the things that I could improve. So let's go back to the idea of like me being a total Dilawan. Like I'm a Pinoy simp. I think like Ninoy Aquino is like a hero. I think that like the Coancos have done more harm. I'm more good than harm. But at the end of the day, because of the disagreement, I've learned that is it really productive to talk about who is the lesser evil? Because that's the main thing. It's like we're just talking about the lesser evil, but we're at the end of the day, like I found myself defending corruption and like power asymmetry when I didn't have to. And that's where when I started being compassionate with the people that I disagree with, that I also got to learn that I could also be compassionate with myself, and I could also change my mind in certain areas. So now, like, I don't think that the more productive discussion is about who is the lesser evil, because I really think the lesser evil is like the liberal left of the Philippines. I think they're the lesser evil, like if I were to choose. But at the end of the day, I think the discourse has to evolve, not necessarily on like which side is like less crappier, but how do we, what are our common goals, and how do we fulfill on those common goals? And that's where I found it important to talk about these things. So before, like, I was very like engaging on, how do I say this, I was engaging on aspects that are binary, but now like I'm engaging on how do I make people uh compassionate, or like more aware, or more informed, even if they disagree with me, even if they hate me. And that's how my thoughts have evolved over the times that I started creating content on social media.
I feel like this feels so surreal. It's like we're in one of your TikToks, but it's with us. Like it's so surreal. It's like a life lesson or something. Well, my next question is actually about the different niches in TikTok because you might have stuff to say about this. So, you know naman the different niches. There's like dancing, singing, comedy, and like as I say from you, you have a lot of like you're so ano to, diverse. You have some education, some politics, some just everyday life. So,
Yeah.
among the different niches, where do you think you fit in, or are you your own niche?
Yeah, so that's what I was like about to say. I think that everyone is their own niche. So if someone would like to create content, I would say that start creating content that is Allyssa De Leon. Start creating content that is Lala Agdeppa. So anything that you think about, share it if you want to. Anything that you're challenged with, share it, and then show the process of you overcoming that challenge. So I think that's everybody is their own niche. Like if you, because at the end of the day, like one of the books that I've read called Zero to One by Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal, is that if you want to be one of the best in the world, or like one of the biggest in the world, like I don't know, like Google, Apple, and all that stuff, and Facebook, um, you shouldn't compete. You should create your own niche. So at the end, like I don't think that I'm on like education TikTok, or I'm on like, I don't know, books TikTok, or like academics TikTok. I'm on the Bolo Pascual TikTok, and I'm gonna provide value to the Bolo Pascual fans, and those Bolo Pascual fans will rave about me. As for me, it's about like as long as I get like 1,000 true followers where they really think like, oh my god, I stand Bolo Pascual. Bolo Pascual is the bomb. Um, that's where I exist. That's why I create contents for them, and then eventually it will just spread it like wildfire. Also, according to the book that I read called The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. So there, my niche is myself, and I think that's really smart for a lot of people who are planning to create content. Um, yun lang, because imagine this in the future, if I could get to monetize, because I'm still new to the game. Like I started only like a year and a half from this day. But if I could like be consistent for the next 10 years, I could say like to my phone like, hey, can you buy this product? I really would appreciate it. And because these people dig me, or they found a lot of value out of my content, then my job could entail just me doing this and making a request. And I think that's what technology has allowed for. And I just feel that what's preventing people from doing that is their insecurity of other people judging them. And I think a lot of people, including you and me, have predicated our lives based on the judgments of other people. And what I want to do is to create a lot of stupid things that are embarrassing so that it could act like a shield for other people who would also like to create content for themselves. Um, so there.
I love this. maybe I will make a TikTok. Maybe I will try it out. Because I haven't. But then, do you ever think that there's like a certain niche that's like more patok to Filipino TikTokers? Like, I don't know, dancing
Okay,
ba?
okay, understood. Um, I think if we categorize people, then yes. Like, okay, there's the mainstream TikTok where it's corny, and then they have the laugh tracks and all that stuff. But I also believe that taste can also evolve and change. And it's because of the fact that I think that people aren't willing to share how they want the culture to evolve. That's the reason why the culture doesn't evolve. Is because those people who have the power to do that just don't, because they care about other people's judgments na like, okay, walang nanonood sa akin, so maybe I'll stop doing this. My friend from high school might laugh at me for trying because he or she has done that before. So yeah, like may mga corny whatever stuff, but I just really think that people's taste are very dynamic. So even if I like mainstream things, like that doesn't mean that I don't like non-mainstream things. I think it's a matter of accessibility. And I really think that all of my classmates from law school can do the same thing. It's just because it's not a thing yet for law students to look stupid and like say, I don't care about my grades. I don't care about what my professor thinks of me. Um, but eventually, like the more examples that we have and the more uh, platforms you give us, and the more platforms that you give yourself or allow yourself to be in, I think that's how cultures would evolve. Pero if it's like, I don't know, I just want to be targeted to your study. Maybe you're talking about niches kasi, and you want to categorize. I think that there is what we call straight TikTok content, STR8, right? Which is like just the mainstream, like what is safe, like what TikTok is forwarding and then pushing. So that's dancing, that's comedy, and all of those things. But we also have like alt, where it's not necessarily trendy, but these are like a few brave content creators that would like to create their own niche. And I think that's like two categories that I see on TikTok that is also rich in discussion. Like what is a straight content and what is alt content. So that's the niche. But in terms of my followers, I think, like in terms of my number of followers, I think it's also about the people who use hashtags and who want to ride those hashtags. So, and there's an advantage and a disadvantage to that. So, if you ride the hashtag, so like for example, hashtag TikToku or hashtag Educasyong Pinoy, and these are the things that are promoted by TikTok, you will get followers from the mainstream. And what I mean by that is the followers that don't belong necessarily inside your community. It's because the TikTok algorithm pushed it to them because TikTok wants to brand themselves as an educational app. So that's like I consider like straight TikTok content. But the disadvantage of that for me and other content creators is that once they ride that algorithm, they ride that hashtag, they feel that they are farther from their true followers, where they don't appear as much in the For You page or the following to their true followers, or like they feel like it messes up with their algorithm and they're not as connected with their friends. So like when I started using the hashtag TikToku, hashtag Educasyong Pinoy, um, I've seen less of my friends' hashtags. I sorry, of their content, and I've seen more mainstream content. So, and my personal stance is to continue with your own community because that's where you can have relationships there in terms of creating content with each other. And I think that people get impatient with wanting a lot of followers that they disregard their community and they just keep on like riding the trends and hashtags even if they don't want to do it or even if it doesn't express who they really are. So those are the advantages and disadvantages. So I really think that social media is a game of self-awareness. What are your values? Are your and like what represents your success? So I think that content creators also ought to ask themselves, what is my measure of success? And for me, it's not about the measure of number of followers, but for me, it's about the number of genuine discourse, or maybe it's about the number of the people that I've helped to believe in themselves, and that's my measurable result. And the way I measure that is when people message me on Instagram or on TikTok that you've helped me a lot. This is the content I started producing and making myself, and thank you so much for that. And for me, my results are 5, and I'm more proud of those 5 people who started creating content because of me encouraging them, rather than the 31,700 followers that I gained on TikTok because of the mainstream things that I did.
That was really insightful. Yeah, we really love it when people are being real with their TikTok content. So, this is the super buzzkill moment of the meeting where I tell you that I accidentally used my basic Zoom account to start the
Hmm.
call. So, right now we have 7 minutes remaining. So, we're gonna,
Okay, no worries. We can have a part two.
yeah, that's actually
Sweet.
it. We're gonna move right now to another meeting.
Okay, but before the 7 minutes end, I just want to say that everything at the end is still fake. All right, like everything's still fake. It's called the Hawthorne effect, where our behaviors would change based on the fact that we are being observed. So I may have said things that would make you think like, oh, this guy is full of bull crap. But of course, you wouldn't say that because we're recording, and like I'd be posting this and you'd be editing this for your class to earn a high grade. So yes, people can say that they're being real, but at the end of the day, they're also not being real because of the incentive
Right.
structures that of being observed entails. So that's just what I want to say. It's the Schrodinger's authenticity. It's like we're both authentic and inauthentic because of the Hawthorne effect. That's my perspective.
Yeah, we
All right.
actually learned about that. Okay, so
Yeah,
are we ready to
interesting.
move our meeting?
Yep. Yep.
We
Yep.
have a
Yep.
little
Sweet.
breakout session, like
Okay.
go take a break. So yeah, see you guys in a bit. Bye.
Yeah.